Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, and in this video we are actually going to talk about and calculate exactly the worth of each furniture available on this week of event. I want to call this like Easter event, I want to call this spring event, but we cannot really call this is not really an event, like it's just a new way of you spending diamonds, and we want to see which is the furniture that is worth your diamonds and which is the furniture that is not. Now, how are we going to calculate if this furniture is worth your diamonds or not is that we also need to calculate other ways of investing your diamonds into stats, and the most common way of you investing diamonds into stats, it's usually strike cards or Pokemon gems. In this specific example, I'm not going to calculate the gems because gems is also according to your account sum of effort. Your total base stats will make your account's gems actually scale. So in this specific example, I'm going to calculate based on strike cards. Not going to calculate based on Heatran's strike cards, but actually Sword King strike cards. The reason why I'm not going to use Heatran, it's because Heatran is a resonance Pokemon, and the extra 20 levels actually scale up your strike cards as well. So because a resonance has level 120 and Overlord actually has level 100, so we are going to use the level 100 for this calculation, so that's a little bit more fair across all users. Now this video will have a lot of technical stuff, a lot of tables, so let's get started with it the easiest way possible. The first thing that I've done was recording all the stats that my sword had. As you can see, the sword had 155 million power. This was before my latest live stream. He's 160 right now. So it was the stats before and after using 30,000 diamonds in strike cards. For those who don't know, that's basically 100 stats. So if I go and use strike cards, which is equivalent to 3,000 strike cards, those 3,000 strike cards are worth 30,000 diamonds. So I used 30,000 diamonds on every single stat of sword, and I recorded the before, the after, and the difference, how much stats I've earned, and this way I can calculate how much stats I've earned for each 1,000 diamonds that I spent. Okay, now we have that, so let's actually go and now exchange furniture to see how much stats does my Pokemon obtains for each 1% of furniture that I obtain on my account. So as you can see, we have a before stat, we have an after stat. These are the pieces of furniture that I've purchased, and we have the difference, and we have a total amount of each amount of stats that I've gained for each 1% of furniture. Now let's do a little break to explain what is that little interesting thing that is happening over here related to stats, because if we go and take a look at the amount of stats that my sword got actually from physical attack and special attack, investing strike cards directly, and we are only looking at the stats per 1,000 diamonds, you can see that my sword actually gets 824 physical attack but 869 special attack. Even though sword is indeed a physical attacker, he got more special attack. That is because strike cards actually scale out of percentages. Strike cards actually scale out of furniture. So if I go over here, I click on my base and I see the amount of furniture that I have, you can see that I have more special attack than physical attack on my account. So this basically means that when I invest strike cards on my Pokemon, they usually tend to get more special attack than they would actually get physical attack. That is exactly what is happening over here. But because of what I just told you like furniture makes your strike cards scale. So what happens when you actually purchase furniture, for example, I'm going to purchase 1%. Actually, we don't even need to look at the stats of like per 1%. We can look at the total stats because the piece of furniture that I purchased is 6% physical attack and 6% special attack. So it's equal stats. And you can see that my sword got much more physical attack by purchasing furniture than he got special attack. And again, that happens because of the strike cards, okay? Because my sword already has 12,000 in strike card value invested into him. If you are putting more percentages on your account, it means that they are scaling this value. The more percentages you have on your account, the more your strike cards are worth. So furniture is always useful in the long term. If you are planning to play this game for a very long time and getting a lot of strikers on your Pokemon, the furniture will make your strike cards grow even more. It will make your strike cards scale, and every time you get more furniture and more percentages to your account, your strike cards invested in your Pokemon will get more value. Okay, now we understand the concept. We already have the amount of stats that we get for each 1% of furniture. We have already the amount of stats that we get for each 1000 diamonds spent directly into strike cards. Let's actually get the table of all the stats that are available in the current exchange. As we can see, we can actually organize this however we want. We can see like which are the furnitures that gives us the most speed, which are the furnitures that gives us the most special attack, etc., but not taking in consideration how much they actually cost. So that's basically what we want to calculate. How much percentages are we actually getting for each 1000 diamonds that we are spending? I have this ordered by speed, the largest to smallest. This means that this Pokemon over here, this Pikachu poster, it's not a Pokemon, it's a piece of furniture. This Pikachu poster, that if we go and take a look in game, Pikachu poster, it gives us 0.8% speed and costs us 4.2k diamonds. That basically means that gives us around 0.18 speed for each 1000 diamonds that we are spending. And this is the one that gives us the most speed. Like the other one only gives you 0.13 for each 1000 diamonds that you spend, 0.12, 0.10, etc. But it gives you other stats to compensate, of course. It gives you physical attack, gives you special attack, gives you HP if you're interested about that, or even physical defenses. But at the end of the day, this is related to the stats that you want on your account. What stats do you want? Just speed? Do you want just speed and attacks? Are you interested in HP even? That's something that we also need to take in consideration. But what we need to also compare is to the strike card value. Remember, these are the stats that we get for each 1000 diamonds that we spend directly in our Pokemon. So we need to do another comparison. And this was a messy comparison, ignore this. Let's go to a cleaner table. On the right side, we do have the stats for each 1000 diamonds that are spent on strike cards. Because it is on strike cards, we have to remember that this is only one single Pokemon that we are upgrading. And on the left side, let me actually change that. This table is already calculated for the flat amount of stats for each 1000 diamonds that you get. So for example, imagine that I want to spend my diamonds directly on speed, and I am considering spending on speed on my Pokemon specifically, and if I spend diamonds directly, I only get 116 speed on my sword. But if I get myself a Pikachu poster, I already get 120 speed. Why does this happen? It's because my sword already has a lot of strike cards invested, so actually purchasing this furniture gives me more speed on my sword. But as you can see, if I just want to focus on speed, the numbers start to get lower. But we need to consider that these amount of stats, these are furniture stats. They are applied to every single Pokemon on your account. So in terms of some specific stats, like speed, the speed is a stat that you can think about that you need on every single Pokemon. So in my specific scenario, that I already have a Pokemon and I built up a Pokemon, 22,000 speed over here, 24,000 speed over there. And my account already has 580% speed. I know this is a very extreme scenario, but in my specific scenario, getting all the furniture for speed is already worth. Because even though my sword only gets 116 speed if I spend diamonds directly, the other furniture is giving me 64 speed, but this is calculated only based on sword, and it's across multiple Pokemon. It's furniture, applies to all of the Pokemon, so all the Pokemon that get 64 speed. So it actually ends up being worth it because 2 times 64, if I just want to invest onto Pokemon, 2 times 64, it's already 128, which is bigger than this number. Now, if you are still like early game and you just want to get like the best furnitures, I would probably go for the first 4. Even though I would not even go for these 2, I'm going to be honest, because they provide physical defense. I'm not very fan of physical defense, even though it can be important in the long run, but I'm not very big much of a fan, and I would 100% get the Pikachu poster, and then if I have enough diamonds, I would consider the Tapu Koko doll. That's related to speed. Let's go to special attack, for example. Special attack would probably follow the same logic. Torchic doll, Pikachu doll, and the other ones are a luxury because they provide special defense. Now, in terms of special attack, we are actually not going to compare this amount of special attack to this specific amount that is on the right. Because remember, my sword is not a special attacker, is a physical attacker. And if I go and check, because I already have 12,000 strike cards on the sword's attack value, that means that my sword would already be getting 700 physical attack from these furnitures. But because my sword does not have special attack invested in strike cards, if I purchase furnitures, the furnitures are not multiplying anything on the special attack, and they are only providing me like 43, 64. I hope this is all understandable, but basically you just compare the stats that you have on physical attack and you try to have an idea if it would be worth to buy, for example, your special attack furnitures or not. But again, same logic as before. If you just want the best of the best for the cheapest way possible, special attack, Torchic, Pikachu, physical attack, let's go and order this, just Mudkip Doll because it gives you a lot of physical attack. The other ones actually have physical defense mixed in and you probably don't want to do that. And maybe you are interested in HP, and I would probably still go for all of those. They are stupidly expensive. At least the Luxurious Bed is very nice, and if you are feeling fancy, you also get Regirock and Regice, which is extremely expensive. And just a quick note, if we look at the National Award, the PC, the Hoenn Observation, Tapu Fini Doll, and Hoopa Doll, you can see that they are all sharing physical and special attack. So if you want a furniture that actually focuses on both of those are actually worth it. Oh, and by the way, all of these calculations, the full Excel file actually will be available for the YouTube members and VIP Discord users. So if you are a member, I will be posting it on the community tab. And the conclusion that we can take from this video is, if you are not planning to play like for a very long time, you just buy the cheapest furniture. The cheapest furniture that usually is focused on a single stat, not the ones with defenses, but the ones that are focused on a single stat. Because according to the tables, they usually provide the biggest amount of stats for each 1000 diamonds that you spend. But if you are actually planning to play in the long term, like for multiple months and years to come, if you are planning to play that long, the furniture that actually seems overpriced will end up being worth it on your account. And if you stayed until now, you stayed until the end, thank you very much. By the way, leave a like on the video, but let me just give you one extra thing. Why furniture in the long term is very worth it is, remember, your support Pokemon, they actually pass down a percentage of your Pokemon's stats, your support stats, to the whole team. For example, this guy, Volcanion. Okay, my Volcanion has everything with orange gems as a support. In a very long time, you'll be able to get this in a free way. This is not behind the paywall, this is not a pay-to-win thing, because my supports, I never spent anything related to pay-to-win stuff on my supports. And as you can see, I already have 21,778 speed passing down to my whole team, and this is even multiplied even bigger in battle. So if you buy furniture, which you are already affecting your top DPS Pokemon, you are also going to affect a little bit on a smaller scale because they don't have much strike card. This guy actually has strike cards because it was an inherit of a very old Pokemon, but let's ignore that. It was Ultra Moon back in the day when strike cards got released and we did not know how to invest strike cards, okay? Now, if we do have the support with a tiny little bit of strikers, like 150 is fine, and over time with the furniture he gets more and more stats. All of those stats are also calculated in battle, and your support will actually give those extra stats to all the Pokemon in your team. So again, if you are planning to play in the long term, but actually long term, getting as much furniture as possible, and this event is actually calculated properly in terms of stats, getting as much furniture as possible is actually worth your diamonds. But nevertheless, this was already a very long video. Really hope you guys enjoyed. If you stayed until the end, like, thank you very much. I really hope you appreciate it. And as always, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next video.